Hello, and welcome to Morning with a Mentor. My name is Diller Schwartz, and I am your host. Please join me on Wednesday mornings at 8:30 a.m. while I interview top talent in our KW Austin family.
Oh, who am I? I'm still trying to figure that out. No, my name is Greg Carlson. I'm from New York, and I've been living in Austin for about 8 years. As soon as I moved here, I went to get my real estate license. 4 months later, I got it, and I've been with Keller Williams ever since. The most houses I ever sold was 64 in 2021. But on year 2 of my business, I went flat broke because I was working every day relentlessly, hosting hundreds of open houses. I made 35,000 phone calls my first year in real estate. And only did a trickle amount of deals the first 2 years. And then all of a sudden, something just exploded. And then I sold 32 and then I sold 64 in the next year. And then it was just like, bam, freaking.
Was sauce. The 32 homes sold that year a result of the 35,000 phone calls the year before?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely a compound effect. Yep.
And what did you use to track those phone calls?
Mojo.
So that's a dialer, you guys. Small interruption here. So Mojo, you used to have to pay and it was really expensive. And I will tell you that now they just do it monthly. And if you did want to try it out, it's only like 125 or 150 bucks. I don't know, Greg, if you have an affiliate code, you guys can shoot Greg a message. If he does, give him some clout there. I typically say lead with revenue. I would say Mojo, if you're actually going to commit to it for that 150 bucks, you're going to have a return.
Oh, yeah.
Don't sign up if you're not going to commit. I'm going to say that, though, because then it's just a waste of money. All right. So Greg's here in the Southwest Market Center if you guys do want to reconnect with them later. But I'm going to jump right into our questions. So first of all, Greg, what are your priorities today?
My priorities today are... I still script practice and role play. Okay. I still lead generate every day. I focus on my consultation practice as well for when I go on the appointments. Negotiation skills. I still practice my negotiation skills through extracurricular trainings like Chris Voss's trainings, some books as well. I'm reading a book on that stuff right now. And so the fundamentals of real estate are absolutely my priorities. If I were to get a little bit more narrow and granular, I'd say that I'm focusing on relationship building because clients work with those that they trust. And I'm figuring out how can I develop even more trust in a shorter amount of time to remove myself from being a commodity to instead being seen as a human in their eyes, because that's going to increase my batting average to getting more deals.
All right. Guys, I'm putting stuff in the text box or the chat box. Sorry. And for those of you who are driving, don't worry. This is recording. Please don't try to take notes while you're driving. All right. So you said lead gen is a priority. What are your lead gen goals today?
Yeah. So for me, it's 10 conversations, 1 appointment per day.
And is there a time frame around that? Is that just all day long, or are you trying to nail this out before 10 a.m.? What are you doing?
Yeah, so ideally, I get it done within the first hour of the day. Yep. And I do okay with coming close to that most of the time. I'll probably end up right around 6 or 7 within the first hour conversations. And then my appointments typically don't actually get booked until later on in the day for some follow-up activities.
Let me ask this too. Tell them when you start your day. What time?
Yeah, 7:45. I hop on a call with the team and we talk about our numbers goals from the day before and how we did. And then we talk about our numbers goals for the day of.
And then before you had a team, were you just having this conversation with yourself? And I know that you're not a sticky note guy because your office is like meticulous. Were you having this conversation with yourself? Were you writing it down? How were you tracking that when you were solo?
Oh, yeah. So I would get in my zone with Mojo Dialer and and I'd write it down on a piece of paper. How many appointments I needed to set, how many dials I made that day, how many nurtures, how many emails I got. I just put all the criteria out on the top of the notepad. And then as I'd go along, every time I'd get a conversation, I'd check a box. Every time I get an email, I'd check a box. And it made it into a game for me.
Yeah, you've always been very, very systematic, and I've always loved that. I feel like since I've met you very early on, it's really just like evolved. It's not ever changed drastically. It's just the systems have been the same. Your regimen has been the same. You're always dressed to a T, ready to go. And it's just evolved into something bigger. And I've enjoyed watching that. All right, next question. How will you know that Greg won the day today?
Oh, I will know that I won the day today by how well I stuck to my time blocks, how disciplined I was by not letting other things other than what's on the time block come in to that space. Yeah.
That's interesting. You're one of the most like time blocked people I know, so that you're even from the outsider looking in, that you're even like hyper focused on that. That's pretty crazy. It's working. Okay. My favorite question, our second favorite question, how many people in your database, because you probably call your entire database, your clients, XYZ. How many of those, if we were to flip the script, would say, Greg Carlson's my realtor?
Confidently 150.
And how big is your database?
2,200.
All right. Nice numbers. Okay. If you had to get one home under contract in the next 14 days or less, how would you do it? And who would you go, buyer or seller in this market?
Oh, I'd be banging out expired calls all day long, 3 times a day. Morning, middle of the day, afternoon, done. And I'd get them.
You'd get them. And so when you say you're going to bang out expired calls, are you going to Mojo and uploading a list? How are you laser focusing in on these expireds?
Yeah. You got to pay for the additional data from another platform such as Vulcan 7, or I forget the other one that's out there. Probably a few, right? And then that data gets put into Mojo. So all you have to do is click dial and you call a ton of people at one time.
A ton of people, right? So what is that like? So we're 14 days or less. What would your goal, what do you think the amount of dials you would need to make that in that time period, like daily?
100 dials, 10 conversations, 1 appointment.
There you go. All right. Does anybody have any questions so far? I'm going to take a quick pause real quick. Any questions about all of that? I know a lot of you are driving. You can unmute yourself and say something.
I have a question.
Go for it.
I've always been intimidated by dialing and calling like you're talking about, Greg. And when I hear you talking about the system at like 100 calls, 10 appointments, 10 conversations, 1 call, 1 meeting, do you rely on a script that you almost never veer from or change, or do you play it by ear along the way? How scripted are you with your calls, and how much do you let yourself start to personalize it, and how fast do you do that?
All right.
The call.
I'm a script master. I am a Jedi Knight with the scripts. And the way I became that was, one, I became obsessed with them. I had script partners from all around the country. The first few years of my business, I'd get to the office at 7:15 every morning, hop on a call with somebody in New York one day, hop on a call with somebody in Chicago the next day. And I'd mix and match the same context of a script. So we'd go through expired scripts together, but they'd be different ones. And then over time, I'd take 5 expired scripts and then make it my own. And then I'd practice it relentlessly every day. And I also took some courses after that to double up on my education. And that has helped the most. It fires me up just thinking about it. I'm getting pumped.
Where did you find those script partners around the country?
Facebook. I just say, hey, anybody want a script partner?
How I'm going to interrupt real quick, Dave, just so I can stay on this topic. How big is your Facebook group of KW referral partners?
What do you mean?
You have this the Greg, I don't know what the actual name is, but you have a Facebook group that you started with Keller Williams agents, or maybe they're not just Keller Williams. I thought they were.
Oh, yeah, the family reunion page / mega camp page.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got over 7,000 agents in there right now.
Yeah. So he started a group, and there's over 7,000 agents in his group through Facebook. And I tell you what, if you go to any of these referral pages and someone says, I need a thing for Austin, don't even try. Everyone's going to say Greg. Look at, you know, that's true. Like, I don't know how you did it. I'm super impressed. The whole country votes for Greg. Hands down. I'll send you screenshots.
Something.
Yeah. So get on the phones, but let's go back to the scripts. Okay. So you practiced all these scripts. You had all these referral partner, agent partners. You just got on Facebook in the different groups and said, hey, who wants a script partner? How many people told you no?
So it wasn't necessarily the no's. It's the flakiness of people and the inconsistency of people, right? You can find yourself ultra committed. You're going to be there no matter what. And then your script partner who you've got great rapport with, they're just not going to show up one day. And you're going to say, what in the heck? And they're going to go, oh, sorry, something came up. Get rid of them. You can't have that. You can't afford to have that inconsistency in your business.
What about the clients who do that? What about the buyer or the sellers that you set these appointments with and then they're flaky? How do you know that you commit to or that they're committing? Because I know this about you, that you don't deal with the BS.
That's great. So one thing that I heard on a mastermind this past week, my buddy in Cincinnati, he charges his buyers a $1,000 retainer fee before showing houses. Ooh, that's an option. I don't do that, but you can do that. Okay. It just shows an extra level of commitment. If I get so here's the thing. I think as realtors, we want to get that accolade of transactions closed and all the volume closed and all this other stuff. I think the real goal about being a realtor is having peace. So if you have a client that's taking away from your peace, it's not worth the money at all. Because you're stuck with that client for a month out of 12 months. Okay. That's 1/12 of your year that you've got this nagging at you in the back of your head. Not worth it.
And in this market, it's like 6 months if you can't get it sold.
Exactly. Yep.
All right. David, did we answer your question? We good? Anything you want to dive deeper into that at all?
Well, I could hijack this whole conversation. I don't want to do that, but no, you answered my question, Greg. Thank you very much. I have what I need to start because I need to start. So thank you.
You bet.
Yep. All right. Let's see. I think let's see. So yes, Eric, great comment there. And then we got Heather's question, Vulcan 7. Okay, cool. What right now, give me your best script. Let's go for a buyer who's just on the fence. You've had 2 or 3 conversations with this buyer and they're just on the fence. Like they're just worried about the market. They're hearing all the crap on Fox News, on whatever news channel you're watching. Like what is the Greg Carlson script that says, all right, cool, I'm going to meet with you and sit down across the table from you?
Yeah. I think I need to identify the pain point. What had them bring up the conversation in the first place of buying a house? What was
Hold on. You just said something. Did y'all hear what he said? I need to identify the pain point. This is one of the things when you're over scripted, you missed the context that you're looking for. Because Greg doesn't just have a script to spit out. He's like, well, now I need some context, right? Now I need to identify a pain point. So let's just say my pain point right now, I'm going to go with one easy is, I just think that rates are going to just plummet soon. I think that after the election, rates are just going to fall back to, I don't know, 4.
Right. Miss Buyer, I totally understand where you're coming from. And there's a chance that they might. There's also a chance that they might go up. And then you know what happens if they do go down? Then the prices of the home are going to go up. And then your competition is going to go up. Wouldn't you rather shop now when you have all the options under the sun? And shoot, if those rates end up going down, why don't you just refinance?
I love that you even acted out. All right. So that's true, right? We can refinance. You have options. Make sure you know what the future can hold. Rates can go up or down. Inventory can go up or down, and competition for sure will go up. I definitely think in Q1 of next year, we're going to see competition for buyers. All right. Next question. What is a suggested action item that you could give everyone? And some of the other agents, just a few examples are, send 10 gratitude cards a day, schedule your open houses by 3 p.m. on Wednesday, door knock 10 homes a week. What's a famous Greg Carlson suggested action item that you think everyone should do weekly?
Every single week. What's the action item? Oh boy. Wow. Okay. I think that because the data bank is the lifeblood of our business. If we were to draw a bullseye of lead generation, right in the middle of the bullseye is our data bank. So if we don't have that at 80, 90%, it doesn't really make sense to go to other avenues. So let's
Do you mean 80 to 90% like accurate? What is the 89?
How efficient you are, how effective you are with communicating to your data bank, right? So what I would do is stay hyper focused on making your calls to your data bank in a systematic way. So for example, week 1 of the year, call your A's and B's. Week 2, call your C's and D's, so on and so forth. Make sure you're communicating to those people at a super high level and let it leverage as much as possible for you, such as those automatic emails, those automatic texts.
So leverage.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sorry, I'm reading some notes here. Actually, I'm going to, so Eric's saying 2 handwritten notes and then do 2 real estate reviews a week. Don't you interview people? Don't you do some sort of interviewing of very high level?
Yeah. So I've got a podcast. I'm on episode right around 75. I do it once a week. And podcasting has been a hack to meet some people that I probably would have never met before.
So how'd you break through that fear, or were you just fearless? Like, whatever, these are people I aren't normally in your bubble, in your world. How did you break that?
Repetition. Yep. Repetition and also knowing my worth. When I first started in real estate, I was nervous to sell a $325,000 house. I'm like, oh, that's expensive. Am I qualified to help somebody? Now I'm like, where's the $20 million properties? Let's go sell some of those, I think you just grow through it over time. There's no shortcut to that.
That's right. There is no shortcut.
Yeah.
So, okay, tell us real quick about your podcast.
Oh, it's called Elite League Podcast. We take experts in their industry and we showcase some things that you can take away and add to your daily routine, which is always helpful. That's part 1 of the podcast. And then part 2, which is released the next day, is their life story. We talk about what it was like when they got off the school bus as a kid, what trials and tribulations they faced at home and in school, and ultimately to build up the story of how they became who they are today.
All right. Good stuff. Okay. Yes, Eric, if pickleball is your networking opportunity and you can do that, go out, take advantage of the people around you.
Create the community.
Say that one more time.
Create the community. Systematize your pickleball. So if you're going to go there, get everybody's contact information and then create a newsletter that goes out once a week and talk about how everybody did.
Okay, you just reminded me something because you did something pretty crazy too. So I threw a party for mega camp here in Austin, and we had about, I don't know, 150 people show up. But you created a community, and how in the heck did you get, I don't know, you had to rent a second boat, right?
Yeah.
He throws a Tiger King, Lion King, what is it? Cub King.
Tiger King. Long story behind it. Yeah.
Okay, so he throws a party. He gets all of these agents who are across the country to come in and go out on his boat, and then he has to get a second boat. Talk about creating a community. Give us a little bit of a mindset behind how that happened.
Oh, yeah. So we're presented with all these wonderful opportunities to network with people. I'm going to encourage everybody to take those opportunities as much as possible. When I say people, I mean agents in other cities. That FaceTime that you get with them at Mega Camp, at Family Reunion, at Glover University, etc., is priceless. You're going to get business that way. You're going to make friends all over the country that way, and it makes for a really good lifestyle. So, figure out what makes you stand apart amongst other agents. Really double down on that when it comes to your personal brand. You're going to stand out. People are going to want to hang out with you. From there, do whatever it takes to create the sphere, create the bubble, and stay in touch with those people. Because then when you go ahead and send them an invitation to a boat party, they're going to show up.
The boat party was like everywhere I looked, people were going to this boat party. So kudos to you. Everything that you're doing out there is awesome. And then for the last 2 to 3 minutes, is the Greg Carlson, I know that your team, you just changed your team name a few months ago.
Yeah, Elite Residential Group.
Elite Residential Group. Are you hiring?
We are. Mm-hmm.
Who's the talent you're looking for, that if someone in this group comes across that talent, or maybe someone is interested in talking to you, what are you looking for? What are the top 3 things that you're looking for?
1 is growth mindset. 2 is humility. 3 is hunger.
Said those so fast. Growth
mindset, humility, and hunger.
All right. So guys, feel free to shoot Greg an email. This will be recorded and I'll post it later. We're almost finished with all of the recordings in our library. And then if you have any questions, please remember, shoot our mentors 1 email with a bullet list. Let's try not to fire off a whole bunch of individual emails. And if you have any questions, hit Greg up.
Stay fired up, everybody. Happy Wound Up Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Stay
guys.
fired up.
This is great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.